Indians working in the US have gotten the biggest shock of their lives. Yesterday, President Trump mentioned that any American company hiring foreign workers on H-1B visa will have to pay $100,000 every year to the US government in the form of a fee. Which means every Indian who will be hired by an American company, well, that company in the US will have to pay 88 lakh rupees, not one time, but every single year. Now, this means that practically all the Indians working in the US and are not already US citizens may have to come back, because right now this is a presidential order, and whether
Hi guys, my name is Esther Daniel and you are welcome back to the channel. So picture this, you've studied for years, got the degree, landed that dream tech job in America, boom, you're on a plane trying to visit family or attend work abroad. Then suddenly Trump signs a pen stroke and now your entire future feels like it's dangling in the air like your carry-on luggage. H-1B visa holders, some of the brightest minds working in America, literally panicking mid-flight saying, "Let me off this plane." Can you imagine? This is the level of chaos we've reached. People with jobs, with homes, with families in America, running scared because one man decided to weaponize paperwork. Let's get into it. But please subscribe to the channel, like, and share the video to help the channel out.
It's the captain speaking. Due to the current circumstances, obviously, that are unprecedented for us here at Emirates, we are aware that a number of passengers do not wish to travel with us, and that's perfectly fine. All we ask is that if you wish to offload yourself, you
So that was an Emirates flight from the United States to India. And as you can see in that video, that was the moment people found out that Trump's new H-1B visa rule has gone into effect. And if they leave the country, they're not going to be able to come back in the country. So people started deboarding. They started because, yeah, H-1B people who are in America right now cannot leave America. The ones outside, if they want to come in, it's going to cost them $100 grand. Like, it's crazy.
I'm so mad and frustrated right now because me and my wife, we were planning to go to Korea tomorrow for my sister's wedding. However, Trump just signed a bill for H-1B visa holders. So H-1B visa is basically a working visa for foreigners to work in US. And employers normally sponsor those visas. And the bill basically was, now employers have to pay $100,000 per person per year, which basically means do not hire foreign workers outside of US. For my case, my petition already approved and everything, so that all I needed to do was going to Korea and go to US Embassy, get the interview for the visa, and then get the visa stamp, and then come back to US. That was my plan. However, now that this bill is just going to be effective tomorrow, everything is uncertain. Like, I don't even know how long it will take for them to give me a visa stamp, and I don't even know if they're just going to give me a visa stamp. And I don't even know, even if I get a visa stamp, when I come to US, they might ask, did your employer pay that? Answer is no. And will my employer pay for me that amount of money? No. So we've decided not to go. We were so excited until we heard this news, and I haven't even talked to my mom. I don't even know what to tell her. She was so excited to see us, especially since my wife is pregnant. I don't even know when I'm gonna be able to leave this country. I'm just sending out this for awareness to people like myself. If you're currently in US with the H-1B visa working as a foreigner, do not leave this country. Otherwise, you might not be able to come back.
An American company now has to pay $100,000 under Trump's new policy for H-1B visas. How could he do that? I'll tell you why. It's pretty simple, really. Companies abuse the crap out of foreign workers. In practice, H-1B visas are abused. They cost like $200, and it's very easy for a company to say, "Oh, you live in a poor country. We'll pay you like half as much as we pay our American workers, but since you get to come to work in America, to you it's like $1 billion." You see the problem there? Not only does this create bad wages for people who deserve way more, it also creates incentive for them to not hire Americans in positions where Americans can fill the exact same job with the exact same qualifications. They don't hire them because it's cheaper to just simply pay $200 for an H-1B visa and hire someone overseas. It's the same reason why America depends so much on Chinese labor. It's the reason why. I know, like, I've seen the Chinese companies. Like, we have giant warehouses that pay workers like barely anything. American companies exploit it. This is just another way American companies exploit foreign workers. Now with $100,000, they have to really think, well, I can't do that anymore. It's a good thing. If you do get hired, it means you have one heck of a skill and you better come to America fast, and therefore willing to pay $100,000 for you. You have a heck of a skill. And if you don't get hired, good. You're not going to get treated unfairly, because if you do get hired, you're going to get treated unfairly. It's a temporary work visa. It's not like permanent residence or anything. H-1B is not like a guaranteed citizenship. But yeah, for all those people who are saying this is like a racist bad policy, like, come on, actually try to figure out the nuances of it. And look, if I'm wrong, please correct me. This is just how I'm understanding it.
Oh no, this is gonna start beef with the entire tech industry. A lot of the most important people in tech, like Elon, the CEO of Google, Microsoft, Adobe, IBM, all came to the country on an H-1B visa. H-1B visas are basically the government's way of saying, hey, if you have a specialty occupation, if you're really good and really educated on something, we want you coming to our country to help our companies and build up our economy. The government has a cap on H-1B visas, they're super competitive, companies can only hand out a certain amount, they only last up to 6 years usually, and the president just said, hey, if you want to bring people in on an H-1B visa, you got to pay the US government 100 bands. The idea is if we limit H-1B visas, more Americans will get hired. But the problem is H-1B visas were already limited, and you can't just magically make rocket scientists, especially when you're cutting the Department of Education at the same time. So what will happen instead, most likely, is US companies will say, damn, they're charging us 100 grand to bring people here, so let's just build offices there instead.
The H-1B visa is one of the most desirable visas in the US for people coming from other countries with special skills. That includes doctors. So the hospitals that hire the most doctors on H-1B visas are actually the hospitals that are the smallest, the most rural, the ones that have the least resources, oftentimes the hospitals that are safety net hospitals to their communities. So now, of course, this $100,000 visa fee is going to prevent people from other countries who are in training to come here and practice medicine. And that's really going to create a wider disparity in those populations and in those remote communities. So it's going to impact those foreign doctors, but it's also going to impact those safety net hospitals that rely on those doctors. And it's going to really hit those residency programs that fill up all of their spots with foreign medical graduates. But of course, I know that if you aren't in the medical space, you probably don't care about those individual stakeholders. But the one that you might care about is that this change will actually impact the patients and the communities that those safety net hospitals care for. We're all going to see wider gaps in care, longer wait times for specialists, overworked primary care physicians. I mean, the whole thing is going to go under. I don't think people really understand how much weight foreign medical graduates shoulder, but they're about to.
The healthcare system is cooked, so the proclamation that was just signed, now requiring companies to pay $100,000 for people on HB1 visas, basically to prioritize Americans to get the jobs. So now everybody's thinking about tech. They're just going to outsource it and da-da. Nobody is thinking about healthcare. Do you guys not understand how many people in healthcare currently are under an HB1 visa? And if these companies do away with them, we don't have enough people to fill those vacancies at this time. So what are we going to do? Nobody's going to be able to see a provider. Nobody's going to be able to seek treatment because we're already flooded. We already don't have enough with what we have. So if the people with HB1 visas can no longer work, it's gonna get spooky.
Did you see this video of passengers trying to get off a flight after Trump announced that the application fees for H-1B visas will be $100,000? This happened on an Emirates flight trying to leave out of San Francisco International Airport. That was on the same day that Trump announced that the application fees for H-1B visas will go up to $100,000. Compare that to the fact that historically, the H-1B visa applications has cost between $1,700 to $4,500, and that this new $100,000 annual fee will go into effect starting September 21st. That's why people are rushing to get off the plane, because the way it's being presented is that if you're in the country when the fee goes into effect, you don't have to pay it right now. But if you're outside of the country and try to come back in after the 21st, they're going to check to see if that fee was paid. And people weren't just scrambling to get off flight, people were scrambling to get on flight and being extorted for it. Like people in India with H-1B visas saw the prices of flights soar because there were so many people trying to rush back to the US. Heck, some people who were in India when Trump dropped the news already missed the deadline because there weren't enough flights to get back home. And of course, the big tech companies are also scrambling, asking employees not to leave the country or those who are abroad to come back quickly. Now, there are supposed to be legal challenges, but it doesn't matter. In the meantime, the chaos is the point. Of course, they're saying they're doing all of this because US companies keep hiring foreign workers and undercutting US workers. That is a big, complex conversation that we need to have, and that needs to be had with businesses and how they treat their employees. But Trump's move is always hurting the employee, the people of color, the immigrants. This kind of whiplash from a Trump administration, both for companies and for people, is something that's genuinely making everyone think twice about investing or coming to the US in any way. Because even if they do everything right, they can find themselves in this kind of chaos under this administration.
Here's the deal. Trump just dropped a new executive order slapping a $100,000 annual fee on H-1B visas. Let me repeat that. $100,000 every single year just for the privilege of working a job you already earned. And while the White House is out here trying to spin it, oh, it only affects new applicants, people aren't buying it. Why? Because whenever Trump talks immigration, the fine print always hits the people already here. Now imagine being a foreign worker. You're in the US legally, paying taxes, probably even employing Americans under your projects, and suddenly you're treated like a walking ATM machine. That's not immigration policy. That's extortion with a government seal on it. And the scenes at the airport, pure madness. A flight leaving San Francisco to Dubai had passengers literally begging to get off the plane when this news broke. People were crying, calling lawyers, calling families, because they didn't know if stepping foot back into the US would mean getting slapped with a $100,000 bill, or worse, being turned away. This isn't border control. This is reality TV gone wrong. But here's what nobody wants to admit. The H-1B system is already broken. These visas are how Silicon Valley runs. Google, Amazon, Meta, they all rely heavily on them. You cut that pipeline off, you're not protecting American jobs, you're suffocating innovation. You're telling the very people who build your apps, design your medical tech, keep your economy modern, go back home, we'll figure it out. Except, spoiler alert, America won't figure it out. And the hypocrisy, chef's kiss. These same politicians screaming about skilled workers taking jobs are the same ones flying around on planes designed by immigrant engineers, typing speeches on laptops coded by immigrant software teams, and getting treated in hospitals staffed by immigrant doctors. But sure, let's act like H-1B workers are the problem. So let's call this what it is: fear politics. Trump doesn't care about protecting jobs. If he did, he wouldn't be throwing American tech companies into chaos and risking billions in economic growth. What he cares about is headlines. He cares about showing his base that he can bully people who don't look like them. And now, hardworking H-1B holders who followed the law, who came here the right way, are left wondering if the ground under their feet is quicksand. At the end of the day, this isn't just about visas, it's about how much chaos one pen stroke can unleash on people's lives. And if you think this is the end of it, buckle up. Because if people are already jumping off planes in panic, just wait until this policy hits the courts, the companies, and the communities that actually keep America running. America says it wants the best and brightest, but right now, it looks more like it just wants the headlines. Like, share, and subscribe, because this story isn't over, and you know I'll be here when the next shoe drops.